Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now, and let's continue talking about the stocks that are moving in trade. And now we have Osho Krishan joining us on the show. A very good afternoon to you, Osho. Thank you so much for joining us on ET now. And let's talk about fact. That's the first stock that you've chosen for us, and what's actually working in favor of this fertilizer company.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, looking at the technical charts of fact, then fact has been hovering near the 21-day exponential moving average from quite some time, from past 2 weeks. And from there onwards, today it has given the first signal of a positive crossover. That means from here onwards, one can expect a decent up move in this counter. Overall, the chemical specialty companies are looking very attractive at current levels, and fact is having a very strong risk-reward ratio at current levels. So 690.95 is the zone where we are expecting a very strong demand zone, and on the higher end, we can expect 760 to 770 target from short to medium term time frame. So overall, it is at a very strong position as of now, and one should try to accumulate this counter from short or even from medium term time frame.
Fact from a short to medium term counter from that perspective as well. That's the word coming in from Osho. But let's move on, talk about JSW Infra. We have seen that JM Financials has initiated coverage on this one with a buy rating. Target price of 250 rupees per share. They believe and they see a potential for the stock to actually deliver around a 16% internal rate of return over the next 3 years, a period of time. They believe JSW Infrastructure is expected to see a robust growth. There's a new port development, acquisitions in the medium term, which would work out well for the company as well. Other than that, obviously, in terms of the possibility for an upward revision in terms of the tariff at this major port terminal is something that could work out well for the company, and they see a headroom for growth to borrow more money in case if they require it to as much as an 8,000 crores is a possibility that they could, but if required, as of now they do not. Now the company is also guided for sustaining its past volume growth over the long term period of time. Through organic as well as inorganic opportunities as well. So let's keep an eye out on JSW Infra on the back of a brokerage note from JM Financials, I beg your pardon. And yes, as of now, the stock is trading with gains of 0.5%.
All right, moving on. Osho, let's talk about Ircon International. How's this one looking to you on the charts? Do you think now is also again a time to look at this railway PSU company?
See, overall, this counter is on the verge of giving a very strong breakout, because if we will be looking at the recent development in this counter, then this counter has seen a very strong up movement from the past 2 to 3 weeks, and even that has been backed by decent number of volumes. On technical parameters, it is about to give a breakout around the zone of 172. So once there will be a breakout above 172, we can expect 178 to 180 to be seen in a very short term time frame. So from here onwards, one can expect a very strong up move in this counter. Near about 180 should be the target that one can expect for short term. Even it has the potential to reach 200 levels in the near term.
Let's shift focus on a stock that listed as early as July, and that is Netweb Tech. That particular counter is actually enjoying its best day since July 31st, and the reason being for that is that they have informed the exchanges that they are going to be in collaboration with NVIDIA. The company will act as a manufacturing partner for NVIDIA's Grace CPU Superchip and GH200 Grace Hopper Superchip MGX server designs, and the initiative of Make in India by NVIDIA to support the PMO's vision is a great beginning, is what the company had to company informed the exchanges. They said that this particular initiative will bring locally manufactured cutting-edge technologies at par with global standards. That's the word from Netweb CMD. This is what he kind of informed the exchanges while giving this particular circular out. And on back of that particular tie-up with NVIDIA, you can see the stock that's soaring in trade, 8.5% uptick right now.
Let's move on and talk about Paytm then. And Ansh, why have you picked out Paytm for us today? Block deal, the main reason?
Right. So Warren Buffett's company Berkshire Hathaway sold all its holding of Paytm for around 1,370 crore. This sold around 1.5 crore shares at the rate of 877.2 per share. Before this, as of September, they held about 2.46% of the company. The buyers are two foreign investors, Koptal Mauritius Investment and Giselo Master Fund. Koptal bought 1.19%, whereas Giselo bought 0.67% of Paytm. Also, if you see the chart, stock seems to be taking strong support at the horizontal support trend line. Also, the stock is trading just above the 100 DMA, which can also act as a good support to the falling prices.
All right, moving on, Osho, let's talk about Adani Ports, and how can you not talk about Adani Group counters in today's trading session? All of them are having spectacular day in today's trade. Adani Ports no less. Where do you see this one headed now?
See, Adani Ports overall, if you will be seeing, then it is one of the positive companies from the Adani's group as of now. So it has seen a very strong upsurge movement. All the Adani group has given, but Adani Port specifically have given a breakout from the zone of 820. So that means now the support has shifted towards 820 odd levels. And if in future any dip comes, then 820 should be acting as a very strong demand zone for this counter. And now it has it is likely to continue the uptrend for immediate upside of approximately 870 to 875 in a very short term period. So overall the trajectory remains bullish, but the support zone has shifted upward. So 820 should be acting as a buy zone, and on the higher end 875 870 is the resistance that can be seen in the near future.
Okay, keep an eye on those levels for Adani Ports. Let's move on and talk about BSE then, Vamakshi. Why is this one in focus today?
Well, this counter is in focus today on the back of a brokerage note that came in from Jefferies. They have actually gone ahead and initiated coverage on BSE with a buy rating and a target price of almost 2,700 rupees per share. This in turn implies a nearly 24% upside from the current levels. And as you can see on the back of the brokerage note, the stock is actually surging in trade today. As of now, trading nearly 7% higher. And what Jefferies has highlighted is that the company is riding on the digitization of Indian capital markets. They can leverage macro tailwinds along with headway into derivatives, and in fact derivatives could make up as much as 35% of their revenues going ahead. Not just that, the diversified revenue stream could provide a very long runway for growth for BSE. In fact, they're expecting an earnings jump of almost 150% to come in for this counter in FY24, and the company does have the potential to double its earnings from FY24 to FY26, and the valuations also look quite reasonable. So given all of those factors, BSE is on our radar. Jefferies has gone ahead, given it a big thumbs up, initiated coverage with the buy rating, and that is the reason why the stock is up nearly 7% as of now.
Alright, so that is BSE for you, continues its upward journey. But Osho, let's talk about JK Lakshmi Cement. How is this one looking to you on the charts? We had Citi come out with a note on the cement pack where they're positive on the entire segment. But JK Lakshmi Cement in particular, what are the charts indicating?
See, JK Lakshmi Cement has seen a very drastic up move from the zone of 700, and it has seen a very vertical upward rally towards the zone of 825, 830 odd levels. So as of now, the stock is having a price-wise correction or the time-wise correction it is in. But from here onwards, one can expect the rally to continue, because after a very long duration of consolidation, we have seen a very strong up move in JK Lakshmi Cement. So once it again breaches the zone of 800, then from there onwards, we can see the continuation of the uptrend for immediate upside target of nearly 850, followed by 900 odd levels. So one should definitely try to accumulate this counter, but above the zone of 800.
Alright, then that is the take coming in on JK Lakshmi Cement. But on that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Market Fatafat. More on the other side, don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET now. Some positive development coming in on the back of that Uttarakhand tunnel rescue operations that's underway. All hopes pinned on that. Just few hours more is what officials are indicating. But let's talk about DB Realty, and that particular counter is in focus in today's trading session. If you see the reason why this particular counter is in focus, the fact that they informed the exchanges that the promoter group has sold about 2.91% stake of the company, which led to 301 crore rupees being raised. The company said that they've used a substantial portion of the amount to retire their entire debt, and on a standalone basis, they shall be debt-free on or before November 30th. So on back of that, the stock actually was saw an up move of as much as 3% or so. Now it's still holding on to gains of about 1.8% as we speak.
Let's move on and talk about IRB Infra then. Ansh, this one has signed a pact with one of the companies.
Right. So, company's subsidiary IRB Lalitpur Tollway has signed a concession agreement with NHAI for a project in Madhya Pradesh. This move is a step forward in securing financial closure for the project. The project entails an upfront payment of around 4,428 crore to NHAI for tolling, operations and maintenance of a 316 kilometer stretch. The concession period would be around 20 years. Also, if you see the stock seems to be trading in red today, but the stock is around record high right now. And it has given an up move of more than 40% in last 4 months.
All right, moving on. Osho, let's talk about Finolex Cables. How is this one looking on the charts to you?
Finolex Cables have seen a decent correction from the zone of 1200 and it has been hovering near the 200-day SMA from past 2 trading months. So, but what we are observing from the previous 3 days that it is gaining some kind of buying traction at the lower zone and even the zone is getting narrower down. So that means from here onwards, one can expect a decent up move in this counter. Today onwards, 945, 950 is the zone where the counter is hovering just now. But the time it surpasses the zone of 950 on a closing manner, then from there onwards, we can see a very strong reversal in this counter and it has the potential to test the immediately 1000 zone. Afterwards 1070, 1080 should be retested for Finolex Cable. So overall it is at a very lucrative zone from risk reward point of view also, and even for those who want to invest from medium term time frame. So one should definitely try to accumulate this counter around 950 odd levels.
Okay, let's move on. Talk about Cello World. This one is in focus after it's reported its Q2 numbers. When you look at it in terms of numbers and revenue growth for the company, yes, year-on-year basis comparing the quarter, yes, remained quite flattish in terms of revenue, but the company has actually swinged into an EBITDA profit versus an EBITDA loss last year. EBITDA profits, operationally, it's quite strong because EBITDA came in at 19 crores versus an EBITDA loss last year of around 207 crores. Profits of the company, a bit of a decline. Margins came in at 7.9%. Overall, they've seen a strong performance over the years as well. So yes, we're keeping an eye out on that. Q2, yes, in terms of the operational performance, surely was much stronger in terms of the performance that came in on that front as well. So yes, overall total revenue for Q2 FY24 came in at 489 crores. So keeping an eye out on that. The consumer wear business, which now accounts to around 67% of their business, writing instruments is around 17%, and moduled furniture is around 16% of the business. Let's keep an eye out on Cello World. Good set of numbers reported by the company, at least in Q2. One to watch out for going forward. As of now, stock is trading with gains of 5%.
All right, that is Cello World. That is in focus in today's trading session. But Vamakshi, SIS, why is this one in the spotlight?
Well, a couple of factors why SIS is in the spotlight today, and that is because a meeting of the board of directors of the company is scheduled on November 30th, and in this meeting they will be considering as well as approving a proposal for buyback of equity shares of the company. So that is one of the factors. But other than that, the investment committee has also approved an investment of up to nearly 3.5 crores in Entitled Solutions Private Limited. This will be by way of subscription to CCDs, and they will be acquiring a minimum of almost 5% shareholding in Entitled. Given both of these factors, especially the buyback announcement that has come in from the company, they will be considering a buyback on November 30th. The stock is soaring in trade today. As of now, the stock is up nearly 3.6%.
Let's move on and then talk about APL Apollo, then Osho on the charts. What is the indication that you're picking up? Because since October, we're seeing a bit of a mild correction coming in for APL Apollo. Now, what are the charts indicating for this?
See, overall, as you have mentioned, that the counter has been in a kind of a profit booking, or it is on the kind of some kind of correction, the time-wise correction phase. But what we are observing that it has been consolidating in a very narrower zone in the past 2 trading weeks. So any breakout from the zone of 1700, sustainable breakout above the 1700 odd levels can give a very strong momentum in this counter. On the higher end, 1750 is expected to be seen as the immediate hurdle. But once it surpasses that zone, then there will be no looking backwards. The counter will be very much moving towards the 1800 odd levels in the near term period. So overall, it is hovering in a consolidation zone. On the lower end, one should try to buy the dips, and for the short term traders, one should even try to book profits around 1750 odd levels.
Right, so that's the take coming in on APL Apollo, and that was the last stock that we discussed on this edition of Market Fatafat. Thank you so much, Osho, Kunal, as well as Ansh and Vamakshi for joining us on the show, taking our viewers through all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. And with that, we are totally out of time on this edition of Market Fatafat.